Welcome back. This is part two of taking somebody to the range for the first time. Again, this is part two of taking somebody to the range for the first time. So, where we segued off the last time was talking about magazine changes, right? And how they're important, but maybe not necessarily the first time you're teaching someone how to shoot. That shouldn't be stressed, right? That should be learned in a controlled environment, dry fire style, no live ammunition present, and and then you kind of work through speed, and then after you become proficient, you do it with somebody else there to stop you from making any mistakes. So yes, make them change their own magazines at the range, but not for time on their first day. Dry fire training is the most important. If you're watching this and you're about to go to the range for the first time, I hope you have your weapon on you. I hope you're kind of going through some of this stuff while I'm talking about it so that you can actually learn before you go to the range. You can feel that trigger reset when you're holding the trigger to the rear and you work the slide just a little bit to reset that sear when you let it go forward. I hope you're doing that. If you're going to be practicing out of a holster, you have to draw the weapon no less than 100 times correctly before you go to the range. So 25 times to develop a habit. However, it's over 740 times to develop true muscle memory. And that's what you want. So I say 100, right? Before you go to the range, you should do it at the range. If you're only shooting 15 rounds, that's a great opportunity to draw your weapon 15 times and fire. And then you should also incorporate dry fire while you're on a live fire range. Pull it out, let it dry fire, make sure everything's good, scan over, and then come back and holster that weapon. All right. So what I mean by scan over is, again, thank you very much for bearing with me. Thank you for coming back to the channel. If this is your first time, welcome. So what I mean by scan over, again, pick it up, check it. Weapon's clear. Is you'll shoot when you finish shooting. If you got to reload, go ahead, do your reload. Right? Chamber a new round, and then come out, and then lower the weapon slightly, and you want to scan. Even at the range, you want to develop this habit. You want to develop this practice of making more threats coming before you put your weapon away. Before you put your tool away, the job should be done. Right? And then we'll go more into cleaning later on. I don't think we need to do that in this video. Some other things that I've noticed, right? These are really common mistakes for first-time shooters, be it gun owners or be it people that go to the range, is not wearing correct range attire. So out here today in the northeast, it's about 40 degrees. So proper range attire would be long pants, closed-toed shoes, a t-shirt or a long sleeve shirt, a sweatshirt, and then a jacket over top. Right? You can get away without having a sweatshirt if you wear a good jacket. I like to dress in layers so that I can be more comfortable, because I honestly think it's more comfortable to be in layers as opposed to like one giant floofy coat. And making sure your gear is correct, right? So your holster that you're going to be drawing your weapon out of has to be for your weapon. Those universal holsters, man, those things are crap. Really try and stay away from them. Get a holster that is intended for your weapon. And if you're shooting, a K frame or an N frame or an L frame, Smith & Wesson, get a holster for it. If you're shooting a H&K VP9, get a holster for it. Which those were, if you watch the previous two videos, these are the weapons that we're demonstrating with, because they're a very close representation, clear, of what most people are going to see. They're not super fancy, right? Like, they don't have night sights on them. They don't have these crazy dots. They don't have lights. They're just pretty plain Jane standard stock pistols that are just really nice, and they're easy to shoot, and they're something you might come in contact with. I mean, you're more likely, obviously, to probably come in contact with a Smith & Wesson Model 10, than a 19-4 snub nose 357. Okay, yep, I agree with you, but they all function the same. And then another thing I want to talk about is when you go to buy your weapon, get a reputable weapon. If you're going online and you're reading reviews and people are just trash talking them, don't buy it. You know, if you're looking at reviews online and they're saying that, you know, a Rock Island 1911 is a piece of crap, then you shouldn't buy a Rock Island 1911. If you're reading reviews and they're talking about Taurus as a company not making really good pistols, then realistically you should avoid that weapon. Do your research. You know, everybody has a smartphone. Everybody. It's 2021, guys. Like, everybody has a smartphone. So if you're gonna sit there and tell me that like you don't have time in a gun store to pull up reviews before you purchase one, I think that's a load of horse crap. And then that way too, you don't get suckered by the guy sitting behind the counter at a gun store, because his job is to sell you firearms. You want to talk to somebody who doesn't give a crap about what you buy. In reality, they give a crap about you. So if you're talking to, you know,